Now let's talk about something else that all puppies need to learn, and that is being by themselves, being separated from you, and learning a little bit of independence. Even if you're somebody who is fortunate enough to get to spend as much time as possible with your dog, you still want to work on these things with them so that in case of any emergency or if you want to go out of town, your dog is used to being away from you so we can build their confidence in that. So it doesn't matter if it is a kennel that you're using or if you are using a pen that they can't get out of, but it is important to have somewhere safe and happy for your puppy to be when you cannot be supervising them 24/7 as well. So what you want to start out by doing is making it a happy, fun, and comfortable place. Provide a bed and safe toys. There's lots to be considered when we talk about safe toys, but there are some definite toys that we don't want to leave with them, especially if we don't know if they're going to be destructive, try to eat things, etc. But what you're going to do next is you can place some fun objects inside of the kennel, like some treats or a Kong filled with peanut butter or other assortment. Throw it in there and then close the door. This is a fun way to increase desire for your puppy to get into the kennel. They're like, oh, you put something fun in here. I can't reach it. What should I do? So they might go over and be like, oh, let me in. And when they get to that point, then you can open the door and they might go, oh, and happily go in. If they go happily in and they eat the treats, amazing. Keep it up. Do some repetitions of going in and out. If they go in and try to take the Kong out, then you can just throw it back in and say, nope, the Kong is for when you're in there. Keep in mind there are some risks with Kongs, and we can talk about that if you're curious, or you can look up some research on that you really need to have the perfect size for them if you're going to leave it. Otherwise, you probably shouldn't leave a Kong with them in general. There are other options. So regardless, if your puppy has been going in and out, then you can practice gently closing the door behind them and then opening the door back up before they have too much time to think about it or feel restrained. Now, if your puppy is a little bit disinterested or anxious, you can also just toss some treats in and encouraging them to go toward the kennel in general, then into the kennel or just outside the kennel, and eventually in, just kind of baby stepping their way in there. Another fun technique that I've used in the past is playing fetch around the kennel and eventually throwing the toy in. Regardless, let him or her come and go in and out of the kennel as they please, but if they keep coming out, always throw the goodie stuff back in. So once they're busy eating treats inside the kennel, then you can practice closing the door. You might even, for some dogs, just jiggle the handle, or depending on the locking mechanism, move those. And do this several times, short and subtle. Eventually, you can do all of the above steps and just walk away for a few moments. And that few moments depends on the dog. If they seem like they're pretty confident and comfortable in there, you might be able to walk away for a good minute and have no issues. If they seem more concerned and as soon as you walk out of the room, they drop their toy and start looking upset, then you might cut that down to 15-second intervals for a little while. If you have a puppy who is making noise, this is super important. There is a difference between I'm sad and I don't know what to do with myself. And you should be able to tell just based on, does it sound like your puppy is panicking? If it sounds like they're panicking and they're really desperate to get out, then we're going to have to rewind and make things a little bit easier and slower for them. But if they just seem like they're a little bit whiny, you can wait for a break in their whining and then choose to let them out by rewarding their calm quietness. Eventually, you want to work on the amount of time you're able to be out of the room, away from your dog. And I tend to believe that once you can get them to be comfortable in there without you for at least 15 minutes, you are on a good route to success. Now, that being said, let's consider that it is important to remember the age of your puppy and how long they can be expected to be in a kennel. If they are brand new, 8 to 10 weeks old, up to 1 hour at a time. Some puppies can hold it a little bit longer, but those are like brand new puppies that just came home. If we are thinking about other ages of puppies, we tend to believe a good general number is their age in months plus 1 hour. And so if they are 2 months old, the absolute maximum would be 3 hours in the kennel without a break. If they're 4 months old, the absolute maximum would be 5 hours without a break. But more preferably, a 4-month-old, 4 hours at a time. Just a range there. Every dog is different. One simple thing you can do, or even an exercise you can begin today, if you haven't already started, you could potentially create a good association with the kennel by making that their feeding spot. So when they see their bowl come out, they might learn to run to their kennel, hop in, and wait for their food. So this is a good way to do multiple things at once. Do you have your puppy a crate or a pen and lots of treats available? Practice this. You might be one of those lucky people whose puppy potty trained in 2 days, or who got their dog from a breeder who worked on potty training as soon as possible. But if you're not, this section is for you. So what we need to do with the puppies is really pick where they should be going to the bathroom and reward them heavily. So this is going to involve a lot of supervision. You should not just be throwing the puppy in the yard and watching them from the door. Unfortunately, around here in less than fair weather, that's not always fun, but it is an important step. So first step, decide where you do want your dog to go to the bathroom. You can take them there regularly on leash or follow them around in a safe yard off leash. Like, make sure that you have rewards on you rather than in the house. Oftentimes, if you can't reward them until you go in, we've got some other issues that arise, such as the puppy holding their bladder so that they don't have to go in to get the treat very quickly after. So let's avoid that by bringing a treat outside with you. You are going to give them short opportunities. You don't have to be thinking about standing out there for 15 minutes. Just give them a couple of minutes, and then if they don't go, take it back inside. But keep him on leash or keep him confined so that he can't just go off and have a potty accident. Supervise your dog otherwise when they are not crated, and don't take your eyes off of them unless you crate him to prevent some of the accidents from happening. If they went, though, the first time, praise them heavily. Let them finish the job. We don't want to make them think that we're getting excited and stop them, but let them finish the job. As soon as they do, use that marker that we just learned and reward them on the spot. You can do different potty rewards as well. If you're really heavily working on potty training, maybe you use the bacon flavored treat over the kibble for training, other things at low distractions. So just keep those things in mind, but we want potty training to be super special to your dog, because if they learn that it benefits them to go outside, they're more likely to hold it for that experience. Let's take a second to talk about accidents when you get here. Obviously, you want to do your best at home to clean up accidents. If they do occur, don't pay any attention to them. We don't want it to become an accidental attention-seeking behavior, but do just clean up with a good cleaner that won't hold on to the smell or the enzymes, and move on and worry more about next time they have an opportunity and reward that heavily. Now, when you come into class, it's pretty common, accidents happen. We do want you to know that at any time you can leave what exercise we're working on and take your puppy to go out to potty. But if there's an accident, it's easy. Just say, there was an accident, and take your puppy outside. We are more than happy to clean it up for you, and typically it prevents bigger messes if we can clean it up before your puppy or another puppy steps in it. So don't feel embarrassed at all if your puppy has an accident. Just please let us know.